And yeah. Okay, so I guess we are live now. And
And
let's see
yeah,
if the
excellent
link is there.
connection. Excellent connection. You know,
Right.
YouTube is saying
All
excellent
right.
connection. And
That is amazing.
yeah, okay, so yeah, it is like the link is here. Copy video URL.
Yeah, I also got it right. So, oh, no, I didn't get. Okay, okay. So, yeah,
Oh man, this has a
uh,
old thingy, right? Let's not publish that
thumbnail.
thumbnail. We have to edit the thumbnail and remove that.
I'm
I
just
mean,
editing it.
just
I'm editing it. Okay, you are editing.
I'm like oh I mean I'm removing it right now.
Yeah. You can do it here.
You have to edit it, right? Like I don't have the thing, right?
I mean, yeah. The thing is that sure you are removing it, right? So I was
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
do the same, right?
There's only change. What the hell? There is no option to remove. It seems.
I mean, yeah. Then change it with something which is very
Um,
generic, right? So yeah, just one.
yeah. Can you like change it? I mean, that will
I'm,
freeze
I'm
it.
changing it. I'm changing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I have done it, right?
Perfect. Perfect.
So I guess that should be done by this point in time.
Is it done? Like, is the change done,
Yeah,
right?
I have changed it from my side, right?
Perfect. Perfect. So yeah, I'm just sending you the link, right? Hopefully,
The thing is that if Telegram has passed it one time, it won't, reparse it.
still it is passing the thing.
Yeah, I mean, it won't parse it. Telegram is Telegram issue. Like, Telegram will just keep on printing the old thing.
Right. Right. Right.
So, yeah, that's an issue, right? I mean,
So yeah, I guess we
but
can just share. I guess there is no way, right?
yeah, then you can just share it. So, I'm just sharing it to Tux first.
Right.
Then,
And there goes power.
okay, so your power is down, right?
Yeah, power is down, but it is like it's not really 100% down.
Should I?
I am closing VS Code
Yeah,
and I am also closing Streamlit.
yeah.
Where is Streamlit? Die. Die. Now I'm checking how much CPU usage I am left with. Okay, Streamlit was using a lot of CPU, right? That I didn't know. So my CPU megahertz is back to 2 gigahertz. Um, yeah, radio chemistry. That is what.
It should be up now, right?
So
Is it up?
actually, I'm checking. Yeah, it is up. It's up, right? I mean, like the play. It's up, right?
All right.
On all the sides.
Okay, so yeah, yeah. Now it should be. Okay, so how many users? I mean, how many viewers do we have?
We have one viewer,
There is Arjun.
and I think what is happening is there are a lot of people here.
Okay, so should we start a video or should we wait for some time?
Let's wait, right? I mean, it's just
Okay,
one concurrent viewer.
yeah, all right. That's
So
it.
Rushik normally should come, I guess, but I don't. Say my name. Arjun says. Right, right. So hopefully
Yeah.
everything is okay. My audio is coming there perfectly, right?
Yep.
Fan is up to full speed, so yeah. If now it
It's
is coming
still,
up, like you should be there forever.
yeah, yeah.
We are like around 8 times what Google recommends bitrate and 2 times what Google recommends as resolution.
Yeah. Generally, 2K, I mean, more than 1080 of live streams are very rare, right?
Absolutely. Like we are
In Google,
still live streaming, but like it will still be converted to 1080, right? So, yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
But
okay,
the
so
thing is that Google has to handle all the data, right? So that is,
concurrent views are now dropped to 0. So,
yeah.
right. So no one is coming, I guess. Let's see.
The thing is that it could be glitch also.
It could be glitch.
Sometimes it happens.
I mean, when you're talking, no one is coming. Most probably, we should talk, right? But yeah,
Yeah.
not seeing anyone. So yeah. Um. Okay. So yeah, I'm like. Sending to some other people. Okay, so great. Like even like if it's not the case, still like let's chat, right? Chetan is here.
Okay, so, right. I think we should start. Most really people will start showing in
Yeah,
between,
yeah, we can start, right?
right? Okay, so let's officially start the podcast in 3, 2, 1, and go. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the OpenTalks episode number 16. In this episode, we are going to talk about three interesting things. One is Samsung being a jerk, right? So I would say it's complicated, but let's see what has happened. Basically, if you unlock the bootloader of Samsung Z Fold 3, right, your cameras will be disabled. But why? Let's see that. Second is Google has launched its Waymo. You might know Google's self-driving car. I mean, it was there in the news for I guess 2-3 years, but now it has officially launched in some areas of the USA. How it compares to the FSD of Tesla, full self-driving of Tesla. Let's see that. The third point is like it is ongoing from I guess two months now. Is manufacturers are literally degrading the SSDs without notifying the users, without changing the model numbers. Why? Let's see that. So I guess let's launch the intro. Alright. So the first topic is really interesting. We all know that what all Android is about. Android is famous because of two things. One is its customizability, and second is uh, routing. So basically, both are connected. Like the thing is that you can already customize Android, but with routing you can customize it a lot. So basically, you can just change your stock ROM. You can even like flash some modes which can improve the functionality of the same hardware. But now what's happening is slowly manufacturers are trying to grab on the this freedom of Android which was given to us. So Samsung is like doing this move, taking this move, which basically does disable your camera. When you will unlock the bootloader, it will literally flash a warning that if you will press volume up, your bootloader will be unlocked, but at the same time, your cameras will be disabled. You won't be able to click the pictures, right? The basic functionality. So, why? Why is that the case? So, Samsung is justifying it in this way that Samsung is like trying to really make the phone secure. So if you remember, we talked about this in our previous podcast, maybe some 4, 5 episodes, 6 episodes back, that Samsung has designed a hardware-based vault, and which is basically very hard to break it, right? So now, following that monopoly, Samsung is disabling cameras in root devices because unlocked bootloader devices, which can be physically rooted, because the unlocked bootloader can be, the system in it can be altered. Now, should the power be in the hands of user or a company? That is my question. If you are like, the thing is that manufacturers are already showing this warning that if you unlock this bootloader, your data can be compromised, and that is true, right? I mean, if you will flash any random mods, or maybe if you will run any random scripts with super user access, elevated access, that will cause some certain damage. But why? Why the power should be in the hands of manufacturer? Can the user decide what they want to do? So my take on this is like, this is pretty much bad move from Samsung, which will basically in future, I guess every Samsung phone will have this thing. From I guess from this point on, from any time, every model will have the same thing, and slowly, what happens is Apple and Samsung, both of these manufacturers take some move, and all the other manufacturers does follow. So imagine a world wherein you can unlock the bootloader, but your camera won't unlock. Yeah, so that is very horrible. Yeah, I guess you can put your point.
So, yeah, I mean, when you think about your PC, right? the one thing you can do with your PC is that you can install your own OS, like whatever you want you can install, whatever you want to run on it you can run. And if you want to modify OS, you can actually give applications admin access, right? Those things are basically controlled by the you can say operating system, but still you have a say on it. That is, do you want to allow this particular application from accessing your personal data, if you want to, right? And those kind of things. Nowadays it is like becoming a position where, like, a lot of people are basically locking down people, just saying, like, their hands are tied to a point where, they're saying, okay, we have kind of a lock on your system, right? We have lock on your phone, that is basically to prevent you from harming yourself. It's like those people who like to harm themselves, right? The people uh, who has a tendency to harm themselves, like there are people like that, right, with psychological disorder. So they, like, these people are kept in shackles, right? Just to not harm themselves. Imagine the whole world being kept like that. Like, that is the situation what we are seeing, right? And when you think about it, phones are basically running ARM processors, and this is basically generic, you can say, processor, and you can actually run your own code if you want to on top of it. And what they're saying with the the motivation of securing your user data, right? That is pretty much, you can say, obscure, because uh, still in Android there is, like, if you kind of install an app, you can install a malicious app which, when given the permissions, can actually access your contacts, access your SMS, access your mail, and can access your notifications, right? Even the camera, and all those things, right? So it's just that, um, it's just one more step, right? They are doing, like, still it is able to, like, you are able to get yourself in harm by installing a app which is malicious. Then why even, like, have these long chain of locks, which normal people are not even going to even, like, unlock, right? That is, even having a bootloader unlocking procedure will stop 90% of the people from even unlocking the device. That is, they know that after unlocking, there's a risk that the firmware you run might be malicious. The firmware you run should be verified. It's not verified by manufacturer. So if you kind of have a data leak or anything which is related to the OS, then manufacturer is not to blame, right? Because manufacturer didn't obviously certify the OS, and they have no say in the OS, right? That is actually understood, right? But even voiding the warranty and these kind of things are not really, you can say, it is kind of weird, right? So one thing why voiding warranty is really weird is, like, you can say, like, you know like, when you change the OS, right, the main thing that changes is the software on top of it, right, not the hardware. And hardware do have a lot of checks and bounds. That is, it have, thermal controls, it have a maximum clock speed after which it doesn't allow the operating system to overclock, right? It has a hard limit on the clock speed. It does a lot of things to check and verify that the code is not harming the system, right? But anyway, it's like very easy to prove that a particular thing has been damaged with overclocking or some modification to software. That is, forcing the hardware to kill itself by using software. you know that is absolutely possible, right? It's not science fiction, right? You can overclock your device to a point where the device just fries itself, right? But these checks and bounds are there, right? you know to not to prevent this. Like, even if that is not really checked and somehow it destroyed your device, still there is a way to find that the software caused it. It is because there won't be any kind of other failures. There won't be a surges, electrical surges here and there, right? There won't be water damage. There won't be, like, another component which is dead. There will be only the CPU which is dead, and maybe the VRMs, right? These all are, like, signature of failure. That is failure which is inflicted by the user by changing the software. So kind of companies can, in theory, warrant the device. It's just that the companies have to check the device. But the thing is, even warranting the device is a burden on company, right? What if they get a provision to just not even warranty the device, right? I mean, that will be pretty much, amazing for the, like the whole, you can say, uh, company, because they don't have to really spend that much on parts, and they don't have to support the repairs, right? And that is like less labor and less parts to be shipped. So what they're doing is they are kind of avoiding the warranty, which is pretty much obscure, right? First of all, and second of all, now they are disabling hardware. So like we have already seen disabling hardware, right? We haven't seen any explicit hardware, right? Like we have seen DRM decryption hardware being disabled the moment you kind of unlock the bootloader. There has been a lot of you can say applications disabling itself because you have an unlocked bootloader. There have
Oh
been
man,
a lot
those
of
bulky gaps,
applications.
right?
Yeah, it's like absolutely terrible, right? Like even the
I
apps
mean,
which doesn't need anything disable
one thing,
itself.
right?
Like yeah.
In my state, there is an app called GSRTC through which we can book the tickets of buses. Right? That app doesn't allow when you are routed. I mean, it's just a booking service. What the hell?
Seriously, like this is way getting obscure to a point where like they're just deliberately doing the whole thing, I think, to just get the ecosystem more tight, tightly controlled, right? That is
I
the
mean, it is the only. I mean, I can see only one motive behind this, right? There could be like another motive which is there, but first main motive is like they want everyone to stay on their own operating system so that they can control all the devices through updates. Like we have already seen OnePlus is getting slower with updates. Second, we have seen Xiaomi and Samsung and those, even Realme, I guess, yeah, open, and those people are pushing ads in their operating system. Third thing, like almost every Chinese man, I mean, almost every Android phone which is from China is selling some kind of a telemetry service inside their phone. So, yeah, essentially they would just want to control the users. Even after they have paid all the money for the phone, they still want to, pump the money out of their phones, even after selling. So that is pretty horrible. Horrible.
so yeah. By the way, Rushik is here, right? Right, after a long time.
Yeah, welcome, Lucy.
Right. Okay. So the whole thing is that this is all obscure, right? I mean, even like I think MI allows you unlock the MI bands and it's flash custom firmwares if you really want to, right?
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
and it's like all these devices which is running, you can say, software, right? We actually don't know what it is really doing, seriously, right? But when we actually flash our own OS or someone else's OS, which is open source, we know exactly what it is capable of and what it is doing, right? Like we know, like this is what it is doing. So in theory, like there is nothing else, right? This is it. This is a line, right? There is a line. The operating system will never cross the line, right? But how can we say that the Samsung OS or Apple's OS or even like Google's OS, which is in Pixel, right? Um, doesn't really breach the user's privacy, right? We have no way of validating it because the binaries are closed. Like it's coming from the company as a binary, and the binary is closed. That is, you can't actually just get reading the whole assembly code of the operating system, right? That is obscure. You can't read that. That is too hard, right? So only thing you can do is just watch and do something, right? Like okay, seeing, okay, like okay, this is too much data being sent, right? Then you will like
Yeah.
okay, where the data is coming from, and you will like spot them, right? But the thing is, now they're getting more and more clever with machine learning and all those things to a point where to find the heuristic to check if they are even leaking the data, you need an AI, because they are already using an AI, right? To beat an AI, we need AI, like as we already have discussed, and that is, uh, that is a path we are actually going in, right? Like it's a it's a
Absolutely.
future, and I'm like really happy that the Linux phones are literally taking off, right? I mean, it's not a big takeoff, but still, it is getting traction. More and more people are getting involved. Right? Actually, Rushik, I think he bought a phone, right? He bought mine phone, I guess. So yeah, I guess we have some
Oh man,
chats,
that
right?
is great. That is great.
And it is now shipped, right? So yeah, like that is good story, I guess. Um, so yeah, Rushik, I guess that is why they are able to sell high price phone cheaper. Yeah, I mean that is correct, right? Whole Xiaomi's model of selling the phones is basically to have ads, right? And what does Samsung do, right? You don't know what is being sold, right? I mean, 99% though, not just a phone it is, right? Like maybe it's the flagship, just a phone it is. But I don't think with the mid end and lower end phones, Samsung is taking a little bit of loss by selling the phone, right, at that price. And I'm pretty sure there is something actually, like some data being sold. It's all about data, right? Nowadays, it's like all about data and data analytics, and like the human behavior, right? Knowing the human behavior is the whole thing. All companies are on board with the idea, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
We have a
yeah,
very good comment, Abhiram. Like one of our watchers is saying, his name is Amartya. He's saying that top John Woo, right? I mean John Woo, right? Who has founded
yeah,
the Magis. He also talked about the same thing which we are talking about right now. That apps like food delivery, I mean, like a food delivery, right? They are not allowing users to use them because they are rooted. No, no. I mean, food delivery. Like, what the heck?
I mean, like there's absolutely an amazing risk, right? Food, if it gets
Yeah,
cancelled, right? I mean, they'll be starving,
right.
right?
That is correct. That is correct.
Yeah, like it is like just unlock your phone and your phone becomes a pretty glorified brick at this point, right? That is how
Yeah,
things are going
yeah.
through. Like, uh,
And Rushik is saying, like, yeah, he's saying that I guess that's why they're able to sell high spec phones cheaper. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
the thing is that they're kind of leeching the money even after selling the phone. That argument somewhat makes sense, but the thing is that the hardware cost it itself is not that much. I'm not so sure if the R&D cost is too much, but I'm really skeptical if Xiaomi is really spending some R&D in their I mean they are spending of course, but they are not spending to the point where Samsung is spending, right? So
absolutely.
if Samsung is not, I mean, yeah, Samsung is not, I guess, showing ads. I guess they are moving away from ads. I saw that news from somewhere.
But when you think of the
So,
sales numbers, right? Sam is just below Samsung, like
oh
they are
yeah,
like nearly
yeah,
touching them, right? Like it's
absolutely. I
like
mean, the
it's
thing is
like
that
they don't have to
consumers,
even they are not in US yet, right? And still they are like near Samsung. If they go to
exactly,
US, they are
exactly.
like done, right? The like
Yeah,
the
they are,
Samsung
yeah,
is done. Like
yeah,
Samsung is done.
absolutely. Right.
But the whole thing is that like they just steal, I guess, the R&D, right? That is the whole business model they have. Like they just see others do some stuff and they just copy it, right? Like whatever is good, they just copy it.
Right, right.
They blame it at first, but they just copy it, right? I mean, the whole industry is doing that, but like the Xiaomi and these kind of people are the first ones to do it
Yeah,
normally.
I see.
And
That is
like
interesting.
Xiaomi is like a whole ecosystem, right? We can like compare Xiaomi
Oh
to Apple.
man,
Basically, like it's an Apple, right?
I mean, their ecosystem is even larger right? Because what they do is they take startups. I mean, they don't buy startups. What they do is they just give their name to the startups and they tell, like, we will take this much amount of money from the sales you sell by using our name. So what
By the way,
happens
we
is
have
like
one more
Xiaomi even
comment, right?
has, oh yeah, yeah, MPL risk, right? That's a game, I guess. Yeah. So
What is MPL?
maybe
Like I don't know what is MPL.
let me check. Like, yeah. So MPL. Yes. Mobile Premier League.
Oh, okay. Right, right, right. Oh man, like
Yeah.
that is very obscure, right?
Yeah. Okay, so
Seriously.
that's not a game, right? That is there is a platform like do you remember this thing? You could I guess you could you could predict that if this team will win in the IPL today, and if you predict it correctly, you will get some money, right?
Oh,
So
that's the gamble, right? That's
that's
gambling.
kind of yeah. There is this very thin line between gamble and MPL. They are excluding. But yeah, that is
I mean, like there are websites which literally track these things, right? Like
right.
uh,
Okay,
yeah,
I guess our old friend is nearest Packer.
yeah,
Like I can translate it for you, right? He's
yeah,
saying
yeah,
that
sure.
he has seen us after a long time, and he's saying that I have totally forgotten. No man, I'm like or I always watch your status right on WhatsApp. You post those songs and I really enjoy it. Yeah. So he has like told that MPL is actually betting it. So yeah, that is it.
Oh, betting app. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
right. Okay. I
Okay.
mean, like,
Uh, yeah,
seriously, like, nowadays it's like the root is dead, right? Like, we have already told like million times in this group already. Like,
yeah.
it's like not
It's
just the
essentially that.
companies, just one company is attacking. Like, app developers are attacking, like, companies are attacking, like, everyone is attacking, right? It's like, I don't know, right? I mean, it's like, it literally pushes me to make some apps which literally don't really check if there is a root access, seriously, and make modes for these apps. And I think those things are pretty much dead also, because with Android 12 we have the AAB, and everything is toast with that. And I mean, like, to that point, um, I guess now would be the best time to get a Linux phone, right? Not really an Android phone. iOS is, I guess, you can say, like, how does Apple Store, like, iOS Store, right, not become a monopoly, while Google's App Store is deemed monopoly, right? I mean, like, those discussions where uh, Google is said to be the monopoly in the Android store, but Apple is the only store in iOS, right? Apple Store. And
That is
why
correct,
is it
right?
not a monopoly, right? Like,
Yeah,
is it just that Google just gave a choice, now it became a monopoly? That is not how it should be, right? Like, branded
absolutely. They
kind of, right?
definitely should be same for everyone.
I mean, like, people will be always, like, I think, getting a good experience from having third party stores, because the thing is, Apple has a whole idea of not allowing app into their app store. Like, how tedious it is to get an app into the iOS store, right? I mean, it's really hard.
That is pretty hard. I mean, do you know
And
this game, right? What's it? I mean, PUBG's new name. I forgot the BGMI. Yeah. So I mean, that is back in Android from I guess 2 3 months at this point. But in iOS, it just got last week, right? So you can see how long the procedure is for iOS to get in. Even the app developers and app is really famous. Then also like they have to follow certain procedure. Yeah, so that is it, right? It is pretty strict.
okay, yeah, third party app stores do exist on iOS, but it is more complicated. I mean, how can someone install an app on iOS? It's like it has to
You
be
can
blessed by Tim
jailbreak,
Cook,
right?
right?
I mean, essentially you can just jailbreak and yeah, then you have access.
Yeah, jailbreak, then
But
we have, obviously the homebrew, right? Homebrew. But
correct.
I mean, before that, it's like, it's not complicated. It's not complicated. There's no option, right? I mean, routing is not an option, right? I mean, like, with the iPhone, like, it's not an option. Android gives routing as an option, because uh, like, in jailbreaking, the technology is basically this, right? What we do is we use a security vulnerability. We have to literally find a security vulnerability which gives a privilege escalation attack, right? and with that we escalate until we become root, and with that we kind of break the chain and we install programs on the outside to help us get back into the root level, right? That is how things work.
Oh, okay.
This
Okay.
is how actually things worked in old days, right? With Android, like we find the the king root, you remember those, right? Where it kind of tries each CVE, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Vulnerability,
yeah.
and it just finds one which is works, and with that it installs the SU binary, and there you go, right? Now you have root access.
Absolutely.
So there is a jailbreak which is like rooting iOS.
Yeah,
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 like we
yeah.
know jailbreak. There is something called Tutu app, which is famous third-party app. Sure, okay. Does it require a jailbreak like the Tutu app? Like, I mean, I don't know, right?
Most probably, yeah, because otherwise you won't be able to even install.
I don't think anything is able to even like access that API call, right? To install, like.
I mean, APK is transferring to AAB for the same reason. They want to control this.
Yeah, control is the only thing, right? I mean, there is no other option. Like, see, the thing is, if
Okay.
Microsoft could actually lock down the whole Windows, they would. But the problem is that it's so much the corporates and everyone is relying on the third-party application support to a point where they can't just disable that particular thing, right? They are like
Yeah.
hands tied with Microsoft.
Right.
But with Android, they are not really. Like, most of
Yeah.
the people are already installing from Play Store, and it's already controlled by Google. So they are just cutting the, like maybe like 10% of people who just install applications from, from third-party app stores like Android or somewhere else, right? So
Correct.
yeah, it's saying the no need for jailbreak.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
I
that
mean,
is
like Neeraj has asked very good question, right? That we can just come up after this topic, just after this topic. So yeah,
okay.
Amartya is saying like there is no need of jailbreak for this to app thing, right? Actually, we don't know. I mean, we have never used iOS device, so I mean it could be there. Not sure, right? If it is there, then it is good for iOS users. At least they have some freedom for some time until Apple detects and patches it.
Like I
Yeah,
think there is a need for a balance, right, on both, like
yeah.
charging speed and you can say, uh, like obviously having a really fast charging battery which lasts one day
Uh,
is a perfect
Avram,
feature, right?
I guess for first we should like read out this question, right? So the question is like just like this, that
Like,
what is our opinion for evolution in the battery technology in phones, especially? So, like, we are only seeing increase in the capacity of the battery and charging speed, right? What could be the next thing? So, yeah, I mean, my take on would be something like the chemical, the basic chemicals in the battery could be replaced. We have already seen graphite batteries becoming a really good candidate. But I guess Aviram, you can talk on because you have very good knowledge in batteries, right?
so batteries is like, what batteries is basically converting electrical energy to chemical energy, and whenever you want, it is converting like the chemical energy to electrical energy. And basically it's a, the secondary cell we are talking about, not the primary cell, where we have only one type of, one charge, one go. And nowadays people are even like, pushing to the limits, right? Like the Tesla car, like, there are like around 10 plus incidents of exploding, right? And basically most of them are from superchargers. And like this, there is a lot of explosions happening in phones also, I mean, related to battery. But the whole idea is that you don't want to, like, there's a C rating for a battery, right? That is how much time you can, take to charge the battery from 0 to 100. That is, if something is saying like, the C rating has 3, right? That is, it can be charged at 3 times its capacity. That is, the charge time is 1 by 3. That is the time it requires to full charge. uh, but people are basically working on algorithms to improve the battery charging, that is pulse charging, and like there's lot of things happening, right? And there are also chemicals being changed. uh, but the main deal we are all talking about is like a graphene battery, right? If you remember, like, which can actually, which is not a battery anymore, right? It's like a supercapacitor. It's a supercapacitor, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's like super. Absolutely.
so what is happening is that we have graphene plates which are like, really stacked near to it, right? And like separating it is a very small layer of electrolyte. You know how thin the graphene battery is, right? Not graphene battery, the graphene sheet is. It is like one atom thick. That is
Yeah,
it. And
that is British.
basically, with this, we can stack literally like a lot of, right? I mean, we are not talking thousands, like millions of, you know, sheets of graphene and like the separator, right? To a point
Yeah,
where
yeah,
we can
yeah.
literally have a big capacitor which literally fits in a very small space. That is how
Exactly.
graphene
Yeah,
batteries works. And graphene is
right, right,
also a
right.
very good conductor. That to a point where you can call it superconductor when cooled to around liquid nitrogen temperatures, right? If I am correct.
Oh
Uh,
man. Okay. Wow.
so it's like really good conductor to a point where like we can neglect the resistance which is has, right? So this actually gives us an edge because we can in theory even charge it at 100 amps, right? If you want, like 3 volt 100 amps, boom, charged, right? Maybe like 1 minute done, right? 3 volt 100 amps
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
1 minute is like 300 watts. That is a lot, right? I mean, not 1 minute. No.
That
That
is
is 1 hour.
the. I
1 hour.
mean,
Yeah.
then then what will happen is the battery can accept any amount of charge. The charging capacity will be like hundreds of C, but then will be limited by the power supply.
The
The cable
cycles
will
won't
there,
be
those
anymore a
things.
problem, right? If we graphene
Uh,
comes.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is a very good point, right? Nowadays, what we are seeing is so you have to replace your phone's battery in 2 3 years, right? Maybe in electric vehicles also we are seeing in some Teslas. You have to replace the batteries after some kind of miles. So absolutely, it's basically chemicals. Chemicals do kind of degrade over the time. So I mean, uh, that is basic issue with today's batteries. Now the major issue is with implants, right? Implants they do the device which requires batteries, like this Neuralink, right? Elon Musk Neuralink. So that implant basically requires battery. So if you have implanted that in your brain, that might work for like let's say 10 years 15 years, but after what, after that what, you might have to like take it out and maybe replace the battery. Yeah, that's not a practical solution, right? So yeah, there is absolutely a need of some kind of
Or there needs to be some way to power it with the electrical signals from our body, or
right,
somehow power
right,
it
right,
from
right,
the,
right.
like the ATP we produce, right? Inside.
Yeah, right. That is
Yeah, I
correct.
mean,
Yeah,
maybe
there could be
Elon
some
Musk
way.
can pitch on that idea, right?
Absolutely.
But
Okay.
the whole thing is
So
that like one thing I'm afraid of with the graphene battery is that if it gets a short circuit, right, the graphene batteries, it will like literally explode. Like I mean, we are
yeah,
not
that will be
talking like
disastrous.
lithium ion explosions. Like this is like like literally we are talking like maybe like let's fix a watt, right? 30 watts, right? That is like a pretty good capacity for a really good high end battery, right? You can say 30 watts. Some of them will be like 18 watts, but you can say 18 watts to 30 watts is the mobile battery, right, nowadays. And if we take that battery and just short circuit the battery, I mean, 30 watts is being dumped in like a maybe even a millisecond. That is how much fast it will dump, and that will actually give out maybe like 100 or 1000, maybe more than 1000 amps, right, at that particular point, and that will
I
literally
see. I
obliterate
see.
anything
Yeah.
at the place, right? That is, if it's the year is dead, like done. It can pretty much be used as a bomb at that point, right? Like
Yeah, the thing
so.
is that
Yeah,
the only reason why nuclear bomb is, I mean, disastrous is because they can release the energy in fraction of second, right?
absolutely.
I mean, with lithium ion, the energy is released in some kind of a manner, like the energy is released slowly, slowly.
So
so that
the
fire
how
catches
nuclear,
up and then
nuclear fission reaction
yeah,
happens is you
yeah,
have a beta particle, right, which you kind of put into the, you can say, uranium, right, and the beta particle will hit a uranium nucleus, and it will split into two, and that will create actually two more beta particles, right. These beta particles hit another uranium atom
yeah,
and splits them into
yeah,
two, and we have four more. So this is kind of like escalating, right, as actually more atoms gets divided. So to prevent this, what we have is we have uranium capsules, and between them we have a carbon rod, and this is all water cooled, so that it doesn't go to thermal runaway, right. We have to also prevent thermal
right,
runaway,
right, right,
and this water cooling is exactly what is also boiler, right. I mean, itself is also the boiler, right. Cooling with water is equal to heating up the water, right. So what actually happens is that these carbon rods kind of absorb this beta particles, and it just absorbs in the sense, like, the carbon is really big atom. It can't be, actually it is small atom, right, not big, it's small atom, to a point where it can't be split by the beta particles. So what happens is that it just absorbs, like, in the matrix of, you can say, carbon, it's the beta particles get trapped, and that is it, dead, right? The beta particles are dead. But the nuclear bomb, what it does is it doesn't have these carbon rods. It can have it and it cannot have it. I mean, depending on how you want it, the explosion to be, right? If you want next level explosion, you don't have these carbon rods. Then what will happen is the whole energy of the uranium is actually released in a matter of minutes, and that is disastrous because we are not talking megahertz here. Like, we are like talking like gigawatts, like, of energy being released in a point, like, literally, right. And that will only take like 1 to 2 gram of uranium, like, not even big amount, right. That can obliterate a state, kind of like, that is how much of an energy release it is, right. And it is
yeah,
only because like, if you release that like that much energy in, like, maybe like a one month, maybe even, like, I don't think that won't be that disastrous compared to
that is
what
true,
we're releasing in like 1 minute. So
absolutely,
this is the one thing I'm like afraid in the graphene batteries. How would they even, like, regulate, right? I mean, at this point the question
yeah,
was not to regulate, to pump more in, right. Now the question will be like, how do we regulate the power?
right. With different technologies, we are facing different challenges. That is interesting.
So we have a lot of comments, I guess, like, we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
continue
Uh,
reading.
I think we have already answered all of them mostly. So
Okay.
yeah. So I guess yeah. I mean, should we move to the next topic?
Yeah, we can obviously, right.
All right, all right. So the second topic is about Google's Waymo car, right? All right. So I mean, they announced Waymo just after Elon Musk told that Tesla's FSD is not pretty good. I mean, Elon Musk is basically very good at marketing. Right? So by telling this sentence, he has let everyone in the world know that Tesla is releasing FSD sometime in future. So yeah, he has told that FSD is not good, and just in the next day, Google is releasing Waymo, which is basically a self-driving car. Which I mean that is only there in particular areas of US. I'm not so sure if it's there in Orak Orak's region. But yeah. So now the thing is that Waymo is kind of self-driving car, but it can only run on those roads on which uh, they are meant to run. Like the first thing is that they have to collect the data, a 3D mapping of the whole area where Waymo can run, and then it's kind of not as intelligent as Tesla is at this point. So it is self-driving, but not. It cannot self-drive in any kind of area. It can just self-drive in any particular area where the maps are mapped. So yeah, I mean, considering this, and I guess maybe all the users who are like watching this right now, or maybe watching this, they've already seen Tesla's FSD demo, right? Beta version, I guess. Yeah, so that works. pretty well on a particular route. So yeah, FSD is running right now, but it's about that 0.001% case where FSD fails. So basically, Tesla is trying to Tesla's FSD can run already. Already they can run on 99.99% cases. It can avoid those cases, but that small fraction where the accident can happen, that Tesla is trying to collect the data and trying to basically safeguard the users. So I would say Tesla is like it is planning FSD from 2 years at this point, right? From 2 years back, Elon told that FSD is releasing in I guess 8 months. Then he told FSD is releasing in 1 year. Now FSD, like now today is saying that FSD is not that good. We have to wait. So basically, yeah, what they are trying to do is they are trying to collect more and more data, and they are making their neural network uh, accurate to the point where it can fail in most of the cases. So I would say let's wait for the best. I believe in FSD, not in Google Waymo. Yeah, I guess you can put
So
on your points.
when I'm like thinking about it, right? I mean, this is basically one thing, that is neural network versus um, you can say scripted, right?
Oh
So
man,
that is how the
that's
things
an
is.
ongoing war from ages.
So this is like you can say scripted actually works well, right? And it works everywhere, right? That is how it is designed to do, right? So uh, right. By the way, is my audio okay? Like just to be sure.
Yeah, I mean it is coming out here fine. Any of the viewers can I guess comment maybe.
Is
It
there
is
is there
fine
any
now.
choppiness to my audio? Like just to be sure.
To me it is not right. To this live stream, let me check.
Okay, I mean, I think it is okay, right? No one is complaining yet. So,
Alright.
yeah, like for me, I think like when we think about this Tesla, right? Tesla is pretty much, you can say, they are totally on the idea of uh, making a car which will basically work with neural network on any road whatsoever, right? It is self-sentient car. That is how they are like describing cars, right? I mean, even when they was presenting the robot, they were like saying, their cars are already half sentient, right? That is what they were talking, right? If you remember,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that is absolutely, I think, the way to go than scripted, because scripted is basically like, you can say, I mean, anyone can script the whole thing, right? And anyone can plan it, but when things go sideways is when it goes out of script. That is, we can say like a road is being, you can say, maintained, right? But the maintenance people didn't actually say to the Google yet. That is, it has been just scheduled, maybe like a quick maintenance, right? Then the road has been shut down. Google will literally, like, if the script is not being alerted, what it will do is it will literally go through the things, right? I mean, if something is placed on the road, if it is not large enough to trigger the, like the automatic braking system, right? It will basically go through the whole thing, and maybe like, even danger the customer who is riding, right? So I like, one more thing is like how many deaths are caused by humans compared to Tesla, right? I mean, like
Oh no, yeah,
it's like we
yeah.
can say uh, Tesla, right? I mean, it's not like everyone who is riding Tesla dies, right? It's like sometimes the robot does actually do a little bit of glitches. I mean, that is absolutely, you can say, it's like, people expect robots to not make any mistakes, right? I mean, if you are talking
Exactly.
uh, soft computing, that is the neural networks and all those things, like not hard computing, it's soft, right? And these things are not defined. This is not 100% defined problem, right? That is, okay, do this. These are the steps. Do this, right? It's not like that. The neural networks is, okay, this is a thing. I will take this decision. This is the situation now. I will take this decision. Like that is how neural network goes. It's not like, okay, I will make this decision. So this decision will cause that decision. I mean, with that decision, this will happen. So I have to take this decision, right? It's like not the whole thing is planned, right? Neural network just makes itself the whole way while going with it, right? It's just goes with it, right? And that is the whole thing about neural network. That is, it's like humans. So I think also we should also extend our human, you can say, errors to machines now, because humans and machines are moreover becoming alike nowadays. That is, machines are becoming softer and softer on computing level, and more softer it becomes, the more dumb errors it might make, and it might be intelligent next level, right? Most of the times, and will make a simple dumber, like at some place, maybe not stop
That
at
is
a
correct.
stop sign, right?
Yeah, right.
And
So, I mean, for this, right? I mean, you know, like Tesla is pretty intelligent. What they've done is they are having two kinds of logic in their system. Maybe it's more than two, but at least they have two. So first is
absolutely, they have lot of
scripted
them, right?
logic.
I mean, I don't think there is a single system. Like, it's like a collective system
Yeah,
coordinating the
yeah,
whole thing.
absolutely right. So I mean, the first thing is like the scripted thing. So
Yes.
that scripted thing is pretty amazing, right? So imagine this scenario, like you are trying to switch a lane from the right to the left, right? And you cannot see. I mean, there is a blind spot in a car. Generally, there is, right? You cannot see everything around you. So what happens is you are trying to switch the lane from right to left. Now there is a bike running coming at you from behind with, I guess, 100 kilometers per hour of speed, right? So you cannot see it like from way behind. But what Tesla can absolutely see that bike, and even if you steer left, it will force on you. It won't let you steer. So I mean, after that bike passes, now you will know like why your steering was not going to the left, and you got sick. Second thing, like imagine you are standing in a queue, right, in a traffic. So let's say from behind, uh, one car hit just the car behind you, right? So what will happen is that car will kind of rush towards you because it got hit from behind of itself. Now Tesla, what will it will do is it will calculate the distance, like what is the distance between me and my next car, and then it will like literally accelerate the car forward so that the back car won't hit the back trunk. I mean back trunk of the car. It will literally adjust its position in the road in such a way that that car doesn't hit. Even if you don't put the accelerator pad or those things. So I mean these
These are all
things
the
are like
scripted part,
scripted.
most probably. I
These
mean,
are scripted and they are pretty good, right? So
absolutely.
and now other things already know that it is neural net, so it can basically detect this is a human, this is a sign board, this is a traffic light, and those things. So it's a very good combination of two, at least two logics.
By the way, I'm not tired, right? I normally look like this. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Abraham is like he just looks like this, otherwise he's basically energetic all the time.
Right. So, I mean, like, the script is first, right? That is always like, the script is first. The neural network doesn't have enough reaction time. That is, the neural network takes time to predict, and even though the prediction, we can't trust the prediction to be always correct. So there will always be a backup system, right? That is not even backup system. You can see it's a front end, right? That is the first system which makes decisions. The second one is the neural networks, right? So you can say like think about a battery, right? Then you have a charging. Then the charger will actually do like okay, I have this much charge is being pulled from the battery, so maybe like I have to put this much in, right? Like X amount of charge has been pulled from the battery, so I have to put X plus some Y amount in, and it will like calculate the charging time and everything. But if the charger somehow goes brain dead, there is still another IC which is keeping on monitoring the battery and the charger's link that is protecting the charger. I mean, not the charger, the battery from overcharging, right? That IC is hard coded, like it has a limit. That is, this is a voltage. You know, if it hits, done, break the connection, right? Like, that is how it is
Perfect,
done. Like
perfect.
if it hits the current, breaks the connection. So this is how the model is also, right? There are two models. One model is basically a soft model, which is basically you can think about like a charger, where it kind of predicts and thinks how it can charge the battery very efficiently, right? I mean, it just tries to do the thing. That is, it tries to find the best path. It tries to find where to steer and stuff like that. But these decisions are always like audited by another system before being executed. And also, if there is another decision to be made which is very critical, it will make on its own, right? Those That system. So that system is like a gatekeeper of the whole thing, and that is what keeps the person safe 100% of the time, right? That is, if a car is
Yeah.
coming towards you,
Yeah.
like what to do, like something is some
Right.
like pit is there in front of the door. I don't think the neural network will be like that intelligent to find the pits, because neural network has to segment the pits, and it's like too much time, things to do, right? While the other like the other system will be already like, okay, why there is like a literally like there is like in the lidar, like literally it is saying that there is negative altitude from the ground, right? It will be like, okay, that is a pit, I'm not going there, right? It's beyond what car can handle. So let's stop the car immediately, right?
Correct.
That is how it does.
Correct.
And
I
with
mean,
all these things,
Americans
still
are,
accidents happens, right?
yeah, that is correct. I mean, Americans are buying for Tesla. I mean, not Americans, but every non-Indians, I guess. Most of the countries do have Tesla.
I mean, like Indians can absolutely afford it. That is why, like, they're not buying it, right?
Yeah. I
Like,
mean,
it's
the
like
second
everyone
point is
has
like,
a
the roads. Yeah. Yeah.
everyone
Yeah.
has a kidneys to spend, right? Maybe like 2 kidneys. I mean, two
I
kidneys
mean, I
is not
only
enough,
have,
right? Maybe like 9 kidneys or something.
absolutely. I mean, uh, maybe in 10, 15 years, not 10, 15 generations, there will be some mutations in Indian public that there will be like 3 kids.
They'll be
Two
growing
are like
kidneys,
functional
right?
and one is for selling, right? So that they can buy a Tesla. Correct. I mean, they can just buy some part of the Tesla because with one kidney they cannot buy the whole. Yeah. But
Maybe
the
someone will come with
jokes.
a like a stem
Yeah,
growing method, right? Where they can grow kidneys in the lab.
yeah.
Done, right?
But yeah, but I mean, yeah, that is. I mean, jokes apart, but why people are buying Tesla is because not because of self-driving and those things. Because the cars are really safe. I mean, not structurally. Truly, they cannot match the structural strength of all the other car manufacturers, so like BMW, Mercedes, which are basically building car from decades. But because of these safety features, like it can prevent from crossing the lane when someone is hitting you, or maybe when there is an accident, right? When already accident is happening, it will take some moves so that you will be least damaged in that accident. So these things are making that car
Actually, it
very safe,
calculates a
and that's
lot
why
of
people
things,
are.
right? One thing is, it also knows that people are there in other car, right? So it kind of accounts for least human damage, you can say, right?
That is correct.
So
That is correct.
that doesn't
That is
ensure
pretty
your
good.
safety, right? Seriously, like it ensures human safety. That is all, right? Human safety to be
That is pretty good.
counts, right?
That
So
is pretty
um,
good. Right.
yeah,
So
like
yeah,
I mean, like if humans were driving it, I guess humans will make more mistakes than what Tesla does. I think that is the fair argument to be made, right?
that is correct. Because the only reason is that humans are not uh, first of all they are limited by the sensors. I mean, eyes are not that much capable to see everything. Second is humans are not trained to do just one task. They can do lots of tasks. These cars are trained for just one and only one task, so that they can be pretty
Absolutely,
accurate, more than humans.
absolutely. I
Right.
mean, and they like nowadays people are even like building the system so that they lock out humans, right? Normally, it's like humans will be like overriding system, right? When there is something else. But now it's like, AI is the king, right? Yeah, AI drives you. That is it. Humans are secondary. Like
Yeah, yeah,
If
that
you
is
make a
correct.
mistake, the AI will be overriding you and kind of cutting you off the line and doing the thing, right?
Right,
So
right, that is correct. So
yeah, so
yeah,
I guess
I
Google
guess
is
with
good,
that,
right? Google is good with the thing, like, let Google
absolutely.
try, right? So many people,
Yeah,
I think Google is the one with the whole, like whole TensorFlow and everything, right? They made these things. So in theory, if they make a scripted thing, maybe like they can make a non-scripted version, right?
absolutely. Yeah, I mean they are the king of neural networks, right? Just behind Tesla. I mean not behind. They are ahead actually, but
They're
I
ahead
would
in
say they are
data
just
processing,
not
really. Like, they
right.
are not
Oh
ahead
yeah,
in
yeah,
image processing, but still they are literally ahead in analytics and all those things, right? Like,
absolutely. Yeah, they are the
so
king.
they can do
But
it.
even like just one interesting fact, right? Tesla has also launched their self-driving taxis in in some part of the New York, just in New York, but some part of the New York. Like just say, like
Right.
they have already launched their self-driving taxis before Waymo launched. The thing is that those taxis are not FSD, enabled, right? They are
Hmm, hmm.
still they are kind of using scripted thing, but they have already done the thing which Waymo is doing now. So yeah, just pointing out that thing. FSD will be there, I guess, within 2 years mostly.
So, yeah, I mean, like, let's move to the next topic, right? I mean, I think we have talked enough for this.
All right. So the last topic is about WD. So WD is literally
Oh, man.
is degrading its low-end SSDs by swapping the NAND drives, not drive, not NAND flashes with a lower grade NAND flashes without altering the product number of the particular SSD. So I mean, isn't this a this is a fraud, right? Can't this be brought up to a court and sued? I mean, can WD be sued? Uh, is it moral? Again, if you are changing something, if you are changing some NAND flash, please change the product number, right? Consumers should know that this is not the product it used to be 1 month ago or maybe 1 week ago. So they are literally fooling consumers, right? Yeah, bro. I guess you can
So, yeah,
put on
like,
your points.
we actually have covered this already, right? I mean, million times, bazillion times now.
At that time,
Um,
it was Toshiba or someone else.
yeah, I mean,
Someone
like,
did the
we
same
have
similar thing,
covered
right?
manufacturers doing these things, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
Samsung
yeah.
actually,
It
right?
was yeah. Okay, okay.
If I'm correct, it was Samsung replacing their parts with the equivalent part. But Samsung didn't do something like a very very low end, right? Swap. It was like a equivalent, but still a little bit low end, right? That is how they did. But yeah, I mean, Western did, like, we suspected already, right? Western Digital don't have TBW scores published. They literally don't have anything of a real technical data published on the SSDs. They are like, here's SSD, right? And yeah, like, here's SSD and that is it. 120 GB TLC done, right? Or 240, whatever size it is, TLC done, right? That is it. And they will have the performance scores. Okay, this has 520 MB per second read speed, and maybe like a 600 MB per second write speed, right? Not 600, right? Read speed is 520, maybe like 480 or something, right, something like that. Normally reads are faster than writes, right? So that is how. Uh, the whole thing is that is all the specs we get. Right? We don't get what is the flash, what is the real controller in it, what is the model number of the
I
controller.
see.
Do we have
Yeah,
uh, caching, right? Do we have caching? I mean, like, when someone hides this info, it is pretty much, you can say, just to swap components, right? Like, they are planning on the go. Okay, if we didn't get this component, or we found a cheaper one which performs worse, but still will actually give us a very good edge on price, let's swap it, right?
yeah.
We have seen these things in hard disk. There is hard disk. The people are all pushing towards CMR, which is an inferior technology, and CMR should not be even promoted to anyone who is not really using the storage for non-backup purposes, right? Really, and people are doing it. Western Digital does it, right? I mean, Seagate does it. So yeah, like a lot of things, right? I mean, these all things basically happen only because consumers are not really that much of a concerned about what does this real mean, right? I mean, why is my SSD slower, right? If my friend buys an SSD which is the same model and I buy an SSD, why is mine slower or why is mine faster than the other? People are not caring about it. And I think it's far time where someone has to literally make a website where they just randomly test these SSDs and just benchmark and tear down these things and just give
Exactly.
out
Yeah.
the real specs to a point where the manufacturers will be at least afraid that this guy will expose them, right? And
That
literally
is
give the
actually really good.
specs, real specs. And Linus actually started doing it, I think. Uh, I think if someone can pull off it is him, right? I mean, this thing.
Yeah.
Because he gets a lot of things, right? I mean,
Right.
like, and one more thing is he is also having a little bit of pivot, right? That is, manufacturers will obviously find him and try to give him the best possible piece they have, you know.
That is correct. That is correct. Yeah. Absolutely.
So someone who is anonymous should do it. And one
Yeah.
comment is there:
They
why
can do it.
foldables, right? I mean, why
Right.
brands
That's
are
an
trying to
interesting
make
question.
foldables? I mean, like when I talk about foldables, right, it's because Samsung wants to basically most probably get you can say, an edge on other people. Like currently,
I mean,
Samsung
so,
has only one
yeah.
way, right? That is true.
Just pointing out one thing here. Like
Yeah,
then you can talk. So Samsung
yeah,
has outsold the number of foldables. I mean, the foldables has basically outsold the flagships. So basically now foldables are selling more than the flagships they had, the other flagships like Note and Galaxy S series and those things. So yeah, they are succeeding, right? Their thing is basically working. So just saying that, that's
I am also all in with the foldables, right? I mean, thinking about it, if they are reliable as the Fold 3 it is, right? I mean, the Fold 3 is pretty reliable, right? Have you
that is
seen
correct.
generic
That
everything,
is correct.
tear down and not tear down, I guess, review of it, right? I mean,
Yeah, I have
he
seen that.
did crash test and everything. He didn't even fail in the bend test, right? And
That
in
is
the
pretty good for a
depth
foldable, right?
test, if I'm correct, it didn't even crack, right? The hinge was pretty much, like factory after he put dust into it. That is really next level achievement from Samsung, right? I mean, one thing you will literally like everyone will literally agree is that hinges breaks, right? You know, hinges plus dust equal to like like a kaboom or something. I don't know, right? Anyway,
Exactly.
like hinges don't mix with like sand and all those things, right? And we know about laptops also. Laptops even without any sand or anything, the hinges break first, right? I mean, compared to the
That is correct. That is correct.
compared to the main laptop. So I guess foldables also has this problem, right? Um, so one thing I really want to know is how reliable is the display, right?
Oh
You
man.
know that the
I
wires
mean,
kind of
first
went
thing
into
is,
stitches, right? I mean, it just breaks, right? To
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
and it,
That is correct.
like how does the display still be intact after like 10 years of folding, right? Still will it be? That's the question. Do you think MI can surpass Samsung? I mean, we already told, right? MI can obviously, like they sell everything,
The
right?
no,
Like does
actually,
Samsung like sell fridges? I mean, do yes, right? I mean, they do.
yeah.
Does they sell Roombas, right? They don't, right? And does they sell toasters? Have you ever seen Samsung toaster, right? There is MI toasters.
Oh man.
I mean, MI
Yeah.
even makes bath bombs. Like, bath bombs. Like, they just put it in the, uh, you can say, like, while you're in the tub, right? You just put it in the tub and it just bubbles and all those things, right? Like, MI makes bath bombs. Like, seriously.
Yeah.
So,
That
I
is
mean,
interesting.
with this, the whole thing is that the MI is becoming a trusted brand, right? That is, everyone sees the MI logo, they just want to buy that, right? And this will actually carry over to
Yeah.
smartphones also. Like after some time, people will be all saying, okay, this is MI, that is MI, this is, everything is MI. So I have a trust. Right? Now let's buy a MI phone. And MI phone also has, I guess, all the integration, right? They have the
Yeah.
apps which are all like
Yeah.
scooter, right? Scooter, obviously, Arjun,
Scooter,
right?
umbrella. Yeah. Arjun.
MI is umbrella, yeah. I mean, MI, like, we have to compare like companies, then, most probably MI should be compared against Samsung, not just with the smartphone. Because smartphone is just a small side of MI now. Like, there is laptops. With
Yeah.
MI
Yeah.
laptop, there
Yeah.
is, right? Like, Samsung laptops are dead. Like, literally, capital
They're,
letters
they
dead, right?
they were good, but they are dead.
They are dead.
That is
I mean,
interesting.
it's like it's like Samsung is retreating from the whole market, right? They still have fridges. I don't know how long they will go with fridges now.
That is correct. I mean,
MI has
yeah,
fridges, right?
yeah, they do. I mean, not in India, but in China, they do have. But like, I do have a very interesting analysis from this, right? So, any company who wants to basically generate the revenue, they can generate in two ways. One is they can
Right.
sell out lots of phones, and second is they can sell out some phones but having lots of profit margin. So, Gaurav, like answering to your question, if why foldables are required? So, what Samsung is trying to do here is they are trying to enter into a new era of technology where no one else can enter, and people
Absolutely.
who are really into it, they will buy it even though if it is very costly. I mean, foldables are already costing $2,500, right? That is, I guess, more than 2 lakhs. Yeah, more than 2 lakhs. So you can understand, right, that they are trying to enter this market because Xiaomi is already taking Xiaomi and all the other brands like BBK brands already taking on the normal smartphone market. But where
So,
the
like
Samsung
one of my friend is
can
saying, like, I
expand?
mean, with
Yeah, yeah,
through Telegram, right? He is also saying, but he didn't post it publicly, right? He directly sent it to me. So Sam is also having the reverse pricing strategy. There is, like having higher prices at first, then I mean, not higher, lower prices at first, then keep on increasing the price rate
yeah. After the
subsequently.
opponent is dead, they will like increase the price.
Yeah, yeah. That's the whole idea, right? Like
That is
the
what.
whole getting
Yeah,
the early adopters kind of thing, right? And
exactly.
with the early adopters, it's like a chain effect, right? It just keeps on increasing, right? It's like you pull one person in the thing, like they just see the phone, okay, their relatives buy it, and like even if the price goes higher, right? Everyone buys it. Um, and you are talking about something, right? Let you continue.
Yeah. So I was just saying that Samsung is trying it is developing foldable just because no one else can, and they are
Absolutely.
just leveraging that thing, that R&D facility they do have,
By the
and based
way,
on that
like
they are just
just
increasing the
saying,
revenue. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Samsung will do it, right? Like why MI is not doing it, right? They're just waiting for the foldables to get to a sweet spot where it is good. Then they will literally reverse engineer the
Exactly.
device, copy it, done, boom,
Just so that
free
they
R&D, right?
free R&D plus, sometimes what happens is you release a model, there are some defects and that doesn't sell a lot. So they are
Absolutely.
just trying to save that cost also. So there are literally two advantages at this point.
Samsung is on board with the whole underskin camera, right? With the long, like larger display, they have the lower resolution display on top of the camera.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that was, I guess, first introduced by Vivo, right? So that is something which actually came from the other
Hmm.
side. That is Chinese people first
Right.
introduced. Then from there, it got slowly like taken to the um, you can say, Samsung took it, right? But the thing is that is
That is
less
correct.
compared to, like, how TCL and these brands basically survive, right? They just reverse engineer LG, Samsung, and Sony's panels and just keep on releasing new ones, right? Their R&D efforts are really low, right? They do make new technology, but it's not like, they
Yeah,
literally keep on innovating every day, right? While
yeah,
Samsung,
that is
LG, and
correct.
Sony are like, like trying hard to innovate. This is one of the space where you can't hide anything, right? Because software can be sophisticated and hidden, right? But while hardware, it is very hard
Hardware
to
cannot be.
hide, right? You can still like have enough money to literally reverse engineer the whole thing. So yeah, I guess that's it for Sammy versus Samsung
Samsung.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
where were we
yeah,
coming
I
from? Like
guess. Okay, so I mean, the main question was, I mean, the main topic was WD replacing the 9 plus.
right. So one thing I have to add to that is, like the
Yeah,
SSDs are also heating up, right? It is kind of overheating.
yeah, yeah,
This also is a problem, right? This is mainly because of having a lower end controllers where they need a higher end controller. Like, you know, it's like lower cutting, right? They did this for USB drives for past, I guess, 10 to 25 years, right? They did for USB drives. The USB drives, right? They just perform like 6, 7 MB per second. Have you ever transferred the data from your phone to your PC? It's like 35, 40 MB per second, right? And if you
yeah.
get
That is very
a
fast.
3.0 phone, it goes up to like 300 MB per second, while a 3.0
Yeah,
USB flash drive will be like stuck around like 40 MB per second writes, and maybe like 100 MB per second reads, right? And it will drop as the scoping progresses, because it will heat up, and the more heat it produces, it more throttles the controller throttles, and the more control throttles it can push the data that much, right? So it's like, you can say, this is happening for years, right? I mean, this has happened for flash drives, now it's happening for hard disks and SSDs. I mean, next is RAM, right? Nowadays we are also seeing different types of RAM modules, and one person was literally asking me if they want to buy that me, not me, I guess the other brand, Realme laptop, right? And I checked the
oh
specs,
yeah,
and like it was like I was like stunned, right? The specs were like amazing, but only not one, two basic problems. One is SSD soldered down. Two is that
oh man.
the RAM is also soldered. Right? There is no way.
Xiaomi laptop has the same problem. Just saying, right?
Right, right. So same strategy basically. So here we have
Same strategy.
like next level specs, right? I mean, 2K display and Thunderbolt 4, PD charging with 65 watts or something. Yeah. A lot of, I mean, the specs is like really good, but the RAM is only 8 GB, right? And the storage is, I think, 256 or 512, depending on what you want. And
That is pretty bad.
that is like soldered on SSDs are like, I mean, most probably that will be QLC, and with the QLC, it should be dead within like a year or two, right? Most probably for a normal user.
Exactly.
And maybe like a very normal user might actually not have that much rights. Maybe it will last 5 years for them. But most of the people who are using more than 8 GB of RAM, right? I mean, with the 8 GB of RAM, will page the SSD to death, basically. And
Yeah,
after that,
and
what?
one more
Right?
thing, Windows, right?
Yeah.
Windows will keep on writing small things to your SSD. It will literally kill your SSD.
Absolutely. I mean, Windows is pretty much notorious for killing the SSDs, right? And I mean, like, how much writes the Windows does? Just by downloading the update and installing the update, it just does a lot of writes. It just
Oh
does
man,
the pre update, then post
shit.
update, then whatever it does, right? It just does so much. Like, first Windows update installs the update, then while rebooting, it just installs the update. When booting up, it again installs the update. Like seriously, I haven't seen any other OS have these many install steps. And I think with this they are writing a lot of temporary data to SSD, right? And with this whole things, I
Yeah.
mean, uh, like with this whole thing, I mean, like it is really like sad, right? That people are just like manufacturers are pushing the other way. That is keeping on decreasing the TBW terabits written, and there is other people like the Microsoft basically keeping on destroying the SSD. And now you can like safely say that Windows can't boot in a HDD. Like if you install a Windows in HDD, it is pretty much toast. Like you can't use it. It's not usable. Like it's like slow in SSD. So, right? If you install it in a SATA SSD, it's slow. You need a NVMe or PCIe SSD, right?
That
To
is
to
correct.
have the fastness. And yeah. By the way, is the Windows 11 really released? No, right?
No, I mean they have released beta, right? But I want to show you one thing.
Okay.
So we have one post in Tux forums
Right.
that basically states this thing, right? Let's see
Let's
together.
see. Let's see.
Just a moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Second time.
Okay. So one of the users, Barack Obama, has posted this thing. He has basically, I guess, done something. I mean, he might have installed Windows 11, right? Okay, I guess you might need to log in for that. Not so sure.
Um,
Okay, so I mean, I can show you. I can tell you, right? What is the thing?
yeah.
So
Right.
the Windows uh, 11 basically failed installing. Right?
Yeah. I think maybe
Like,
for the right click, maybe open image in new tab, but I don't think so.
yeah,
I think we
that
have
will be
set
like
this
maybe a thumbnail, right? So that will be.
most probably a
You can
thumbnail.
just
So.
try. You can maybe just try, but yeah, it's a thumbnail, so there's no point.
I think you can. Can you just copy the link? Um,
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
and I will like open a Firefox new tab. Right?
I've
Let me
done it.
like
Yeah, copied the link.
yeah. Just keep it there, right? Let me like open a
Yeah,
Firefox new tab. I mean like I'm just running the command from my laptop on
yeah, sure.
Fire display equal to 0 Firefox nightly. Yeah, there you go, right? Can you like paste the thing there? It pasted too many times.
Yeah, yeah. That is basically actually another bug to it.
It is still not logged in. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I mean, then that is fine. Then that is fine. I think
Okay.
you can explain, right? So, yeah.
Okay. So uh, I guess what the user tried to do was he tried to upgrade Windows 11 by using the official technique. So he was saying Windows 10 install. In Windows 11 beta got released, I guess, some time ago. Right? He tried to install that, and it failed. And this errors came. It failed while it kind of succeeded at the first point. It rebooted, and then while installing, it failed. So it kind of rolled back. So yeah, there are already issues with Windows 11, even the beta version. So I don't know how Microsoft is going to plan to
So
change
it's
this.
like a
They
lot of
might,
checks are there, right? It's like a
yes.
here and there they have implemented checks to a point where they don't really know
Oh
if the
man,
checks will even pass in the original, like the hardware which is not
yeah,
even uh, banned. Kind of like.
right.
So he is doing in a Ryzen machine, right? If I'm correct, like, is it
Yeah,
is it a Ryzen machine?
most
It's a
probably it is
Ryzen
Ryzen
machine, right?
machine.
And it's the latest Ryzen, not like a very old Ryzen. I think 4th gen or something.
Correct.
Uh, so that is like a pretty weird scenario because 4th gen Ryzen is supported. Like
Absolutely.
uh, if I remember correctly, 3rd gen, 2nd gen, and one like 1st gen is not supported, right? But
Yeah.
all
That
the
is
others are
correct. Hmm.
supported. 4th, 5th, and I guess next 6th is coming soon, right? Uh,
Yeah.
that actually means that like maybe we should make an installer for fixing the Microsoft install, right? That is make our own installer, right?
Yeah, people people have already done, right? They have made custom installer using just the raw files from Windows 11 and using custom installer they can install it into it. But just following the official process is a headache as of now. So yeah,
So I mean, like
there is a
if Microsoft can do it, someone
yeah,
should do it
yeah,
probably. So
absolutely.
I
Okay,
guess yeah. I
so
mean, this is perfect. This is perfect,
okay,
right?
so I guess
Microsoft killing their own like users, right?
correct, correct. Yeah.
I don't think they even like expect people to install Windows 11. It's like they just expect people to just buy a computer which is pre-loaded with Windows 11, not like installing it. You get what I think, right? It's like they don't want
Yeah,
even retail
yeah, yeah, yeah.
license anymore because retail license doesn't sell anything, right? I mean, for Microsoft, it's like maybe like a not even 1% of the cut what retail licenses are. Like all are like volume licensing, right? Volume licensing, like a lot of licenses are like bought like as a bundle, right, by Microsoft. So yeah,
Correct.
I guess yeah. I mean, yeah. Let's kind of end the podcast, I guess.
Okay, so I guess with that, the 16th episode ends, and it was very interactive session. We loved it, right? We loved answering your
Absolutely.
questions. And do let us know if you have more questions in comments, and also post your questions in Tux forums if you need some extra help. We'll be there
Absolutely.
always. And do join Telegram group, right? Tux forum. Like we will link it in the description. So I guess with that we'll say goodbye to you guys, and we'll meet every Sunday 9 p.m. Do like, share, and subscribe, right? All right. So goodbye, everyone.